Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad Today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, as promised, we are showing off some of Adobe's new, I don't know, is it like 1,200 new apps that they
There's a
have?
ton of
Something
them.
like that? We'll try to get through a few anyway.
Plus, new iPads coming on Thursday. We'll show you how to get photo stream back for iOS 8. Thank you to our audience. And let's simulate a goat.
All that and some very creative video filters on iPad Today.
Sarah Lane.
Leo Laporte.
Good to see you and your dots.
Thank
Polka
you.
dots. I love the polka dots.
Do you?
Looks like the galaxy.
You know what's kind of fun about this dress? I mean, there's only, I'm not going to actually take it off during the show, but it is reversible.
Okay, so now it's dots and stripes. If you reverse it, is it stripes and dots?
Well, the stripes actually go longer, so if you reverse it, it's just stripes, and the dots are hidden.
Wow.
It's kind of fun, though.
That is a versatile dress.
I thought so, too.
I think you should travel in that.
Okay.
Because, well, then you should cut down on your luggage.
Right, because you're wearing part of it.
Two different dresses.
Yeah.
So you promised something last week, and I'm gonna well, let's take a look at all the Adobe apps on the iPad. Holy camole, are there a lot of Adobe apps on the iPad? Let me just count them. 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. There's literally 40 apps.
Here's what's
What?
we talked about this last week, and more just sort of like, wow, Adobe just gave us a bunch of apps.
Crazy.
We didn't really have time to absorb them because that was last Monday, and you know, all the apps went live in the App Store like an hour before we started the show. So we said, hey, we don't often get to tell you what our theme is going to be for next week, because who thinks ahead 7 days? Well, we did last week.
Almost all of these
today,
are free.
But then the problem with, yeah, exactly. There's some in-app purchases, but yeah, you can get an Adobe ID and have some fun right off the bat. But almost immediately, we were quite overwhelmed with our choices. And I think that Adobe, and maybe the casual user is not necessarily what Adobe cares about with naming conventions, but an app called Adobe Line, I have no idea what that means.
And that's a funny one. That's the one where you have like a physical ruler you could put on the screen.
Right, right.
Some of these don't look like full apps. They look like somebody at Adobe said, hey, you know, we could do this. And they said, well, let's make an app out of that. There are a lot of them are little like there's Adobe Brush, which lets you make brushes. Now, you know that this is a nice feature in Photoshop, a feature actually Bert Monroy contributed to way back when. The idea that you could take anything, any object, and make a brush out of it. Adobe Brush, that's all it does. Let me see if I can even find it here. I made a folder just so I could find all the Adobe stuff.
Just search
There's so
for
much
it.
of it. You and your search for it. You and your search for it. So this is the simplest program ever. It allows you to take a picture of something, grass, flowers, in my case, Sarah Lane, and make a brush out of it. I actually do have a Sarah Lane brush somewhere.
A Sarah Lane brush, what?
It's not a very good brush.
What does it draw?
Don't get excited.
It just draws me all over everything?
Yeah, actually,
it's a
it
little
seems
odd.
to have lost my Sarah Lane brush.
Well, that's crappy.
Let me show you, though, with a grass brush,
Right.
you can draw grass, any color grass you want. So this by itself isn't particularly useful, but it is something you could put into or import into Photoshop or Illustrator. And then, so what it is, I guess, is it turns the iPad into a brush-making tool.
Okay.
So that's,
the
I
iPad
think
is good for that.
the reason I mention it is you might look at these things and say, well, what is this for? It's for the person who uses Adobe Creative Cloud a lot and knows what they're doing and says, oh, yeah, that would be useful, a brush-making tool. For the rest of us, it's good they didn't charge for it because a lot of people would go, well, why did I buy this? It's free.
So where do we start here with some of the Adobe apps that we're going to cover? I know that you were quite excited about Lightroom.
Lightroom, to me, is the one app that you absolutely should have if you use Adobe Lightroom. Now, for all of these apps to work, you have to have an Adobe account, and you probably should be a subscriber to the Creative Cloud for most of them. That's the new way. Adobe doesn't sell software anymore. They rent it. And now for photographers, for instance, $10 a month gets you Photoshop and Lightroom. That's a pretty good deal. That's a lot less than buying even Lightroom by itself in a year, let alone Photoshop. If you use Lightroom on the desktop, and we've showed this before, you make a collection of photos that, you know, for instance, I made a collection of our London trip. All the photos are in there, and then you can use Lightroom on the iPad for a couple of very useful things. One, just to review the collection. You know, one of the hardest things about taking photos, especially on a trip, is you have lots of them. And it's nice to be able to sit back on the plane home, on the couch, in bed, go through your pictures and say, that one's a good one, that one's a good one, that one's a good one, and do the triage. So that's the first most useful reason to do this. Now, I'm not showing it because even though I've had collections in here and showed it before, it's having trouble getting these, and it's been doing this for about 20 minutes. So
even longer.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's just not going to happen, and I'm not sure what's wrong here. It thinks it's in my cloud, but I do have collections. I have every trip that I've taken, I put into a collection in Adobe Lightroom, and then they normally will show up here.
This is obvious advice, but have you like reset the app? Because that might just be the
Oh, you know what? Okay, hide this because maybe it didn't know who I am this time.
Well, that's a little nuts.
Yeah, because I've used this.
on.
You've seen me use it on the show before.
Yes, very much so.
Let me log into my Creative
While
Cloud.
you are doing that, I want to show everybody here Adobe Line, which was the, you know,
That's
of course,
the silliest thing
once
ever.
you open up the app, you go, oh, Adobe Illustrator Line. Okay, it's one of these vector-based programs, but not too intuitive. Okay, but here, before you write this off and say, it's this stupid ruler program, because you have said that to me before, Leo. You were very anti-cool, I've had a ruler in the past that when we've shown this off, is community drawings is always a great way to get inspired. For example, somebody actually drew this, and you can see that it's actually a series of perfectly horizontal lines that it looks like a picture of Twiggy. I think that's who that is. And, okay, so you could...
Did they draw that with a ruler?
Yes. Look at this crap. This is good stuff.
All right.
When I say crap, I mean, you know, cool crap, not bad crap.
So this is also a sharing application.
Totally. Yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of, you know, look what I can do.
Almost all of them will tie into your Creative Cloud account. Will share your stuff to your Creative Cloud library or Revel, which is their...
all of the stuff that I'm showing off is all Creative Cloud based. That's interesting. I thought I clicked on a picture of a lion and I got a car.
Yeah, it's a lion car.
The old Mustang. I think that's what that is, right? Okay, so those are community drawings, and you might say, well, that's fine and good, but I don't have that kind of talent. Well, dear viewer, neither do I. You can look through some samples, which is also kind of helpful to give you an idea of where you could start. Okay, so this is where we get into the cool ruler situation. You've got two little tire-looking things. Now, when you use your fingers on each side of the tires, not only can you move particular objects, but you can change a little bit of the dimensions, right? So then, at that point, you've got something that's a lot more precise than it would normally be. That's actually a double tap to stamp, the stamp deploy. Oh, okay. So they're giving me some options as well.
You made a chair stamp.
I don't know what I made, something that was adjacent to the chair. But this kind of just gives you a sense of, oh, okay, let's just kind of start playing around with something that's already been imported. That looks like an Eames chair. Or I can start my own project. And this is like sort of the bare minimum, like, okay, well, let's figure out how to draw a variety of very precise lines. As you can see, ooh, I brought the chair in. Oh, that's kind of fun. As you can see, No.
So that's the hardware they want you to buy.
Purchase.
That's the physical ruler and the physical pen that they've been talking about.
Dismiss,
I think
please.
that this is really their intent, is that you use that weird ruler on your screen. See, your lines aren't so straight now.
Well, they're not.
You need a ruler.
Because I don't have the ruler.
Now, I should point out that you could use any straight edge or even a piece of paper to make a ruler. But if you really want to go crazy, get the Adobe ruler. It's made out of aluminum. Or should I say aluminium? Aluminium.
Aluminium?
Yes.
Yeah, why am I going crazy right now? It's because of this.
Your chair stamp.
Yeah. What's happening here?
I presume that if you are a graphic artist, you know what to do with this stuff.
Well, no.
I shouldn't demean it. You're right, because a graphic
until
artist would probably have some use for
Until the
this.
chair came into the mix and messed up my whole thing. I was going to show you guys.
Oh, did it? Oh, really? It messed up your thing? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Shame on it.
The idea is, again, vector-based Illustrator is just not my jam. It never has been. I'm not an artist, and hey, look, see how nice that is, actually, Leo. Somebody could get, you know, if Basquiat had painted this, he would, people would say that it was some sort of a work of art.
Some sort.
That's what I was thinking.
Speaking of Illustrator, one of the things that you want to do with Illustrator is get everything into vector graphics, right? Because Illustrator doesn't work as Photoshop does with bitmaps. It works with strokes and vector graphics. So they have a really kind of interesting program here. I was playing with it earlier called Adobe Shape. This is also part of the Creative Cloud, and it would be for somebody who wants to use Illustrator. So let's say I need to get a shape into my Illustrator, like, here, I'm going to show you. Let's take a picture of Sarah Lane here. And I'm going to get her into Illustrator. There you go. That's great. So what this does is it's really kind of cool. It makes a vector map of the photo I just took. And there we go. And see, there's the photo. And oops, oh, Popeye. Let's show you an earlier edition of this.
It's so bad.
And then processes it.
I was like, what's wrong with my face?
Into a vector map, which you can then add to your library.
I lost a chin somewhere in there.
And all of these things are designed to be part of the Creative Cloud that you've logged into and uploaded all this stuff to your Creative Cloud. So then, of course, you can launch Adobe Illustrator at home on your desktop. Let me show you Lightroom because oddly enough, even though it didn't tell me this, it wanted me to log in. So we'll go back in time a little bit to my trip to the Adriatic. So I made a collection again on the Lightroom desktop of all of those photos, and they're now available to me. Very easy, and we showed this before, very easy to flag the ones you like. I like that one. And you could flag them down here, show the flag state. Doom, doom. You can even do some adjustments. You see, here's a little bit of the histogram. You can play with it that way. Easy to flag. This is what I really like. As you're swiping through these, go up to flag it, say that's a pick. Go down to reject it. So it makes it, I think that's like 90% of what I want to do with this. Occasionally you'll get something you say, that would be great, I just need to make a slight adjustment to that. And then you can, whoops. You got to be careful what you're swiping, though. And then you can go to the histogram and make the adjustments. So if you use Lightroom, this is free. Of course, it doesn't make any sense unless you have paid for Lightroom on the desktop and you have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. But I do, and I think anybody who's a photographer probably has the photography subscription. So as you saw, 666 photos from the Adriatic. I can pair through those, and there's probably about 5 good pictures in there, and I can find them. This is, I think, of all the Adobe offerings, Lightroom is one that is just fantastic. Of course, you have to have it. Let me show you real quickly. They also have Creative Cloud tutorials. There's a whole application dedicated to that. So if you want,
because Lightroom, I think, can be a little a little much.
Right.
It's a wonderful program, but I think the tutorials are helpful, or it can seem intimidating and, oh, this is just for professionals, not us normals.
Right. So this is a great opportunity to learn some of this stuff. And this is all in a single app, the Creative Cloud tutorials. And you can see their videos. In fact, this looks a little bit like the YouTube interface.
Lets you create
I don't think it is.
Freeform vector illustrations wherever you are. Draw puts all of your favorite
So you
vector
get the
drawing
idea.
tools and features.
Absolutely, if you're going to download any of these Adobe apps, I would suggest that your first one should be the tutorials app, so you can figure out how the heck to use these.
So have you played around much with Photoshop Sketch? Adobe Photoshop Sketch?
I haven't. Show me.
All right, so this is, I don't even really know why it's branded Photoshop, because it's a lot more of drawing something on top of a photo that already exists.
Is that you?
It is me. Yeah, this is actually, that was a...
Well, it expires in '99, so this is like 20 years ago.
It was 1995, and I was clearly not having a great day, or I just wanted to look really badass.
This is your first driver's license. You're like 15 or 16.
I was a little lady, and I look like I have black hair, but it was just, it looked kind of like this.
Great.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, sometimes I get, I don't know, I take weird photos. So this is just a photo that I imported. Well, now I have...
You do look like you have some attitude there.
Well, I was a teen.
Did you have tude?
I had a lot of tude.
Okay.
I was a 10 with a tude,
Okay.
man. Oh, you have no idea. What a nightmare. I'm sorry,
great.
Mom. Sorry, Mom. But now I can draw over this. Now, this is maybe a weird picture because it's so detailed already. Maybe I should import something that makes a little bit more sense. Whoops. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, we're going to get rid of this. And we'll go ahead and say, let's go to our camera roll, photos. This always scares me a little bit. Okay, so this is when Bob Heil was here last week. He was showing me some new Heil headphones.
Wow, that's a great picture. I love
Yeah,
that.
and he made them pink, and I was all happy about it. So, okay, we say, okay, sure, let's do that. But I really don't like hold pen to connect, enable slide. That was part of the problem. So I really don't like my eyes. So let's just go ahead and, you know, take those out so that they match the microphone. Come on, you guys. You know, I want to look cool, right? So there's, you know, there's a little bit of this. Of course, you've got a variety of brushes. You've got, you know, some other options. Here's, you know, Leo's love ruler. If you want to, let's say, like, just
love ruler.
you know, the ruler that you love.
Ah.
You want to draw a line that's very ruler based. You can do that because it's, you know, this is created the actual ruler that is going to make your lines very precise on the page. I don't know. I mean, I think that if you and there's that 2-finger thing again, which is kind of neat. I actually have a gray, so it's not really very interesting until. Why aren't you? Oh.
What are you doing?
Shh. Leo Laporte. Trying to show you something. What is wrong? Why do I have so hard time with this? I swear I knew what I was doing beforehand. Here we go. All right, so there's, see, cool, right?
See, if you had Leo's love ruler, you'd be ready by now.
Look at that.
Look at
Tic-tac,
that.
what up?
Tic-tac, Sarah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I think that this is, you know, this is just me showing you some kind of silly things that you can do on top of
You can't employ the Basquiat defense on this one.
No, this is just really weird and not cool.
Maybe Banksy.
Sure, and yeah, and it's some sort of a statement about, you know, how bad humanity has gotten. But I really love this ruler thing. I'm telling you.
I don't know why.
Because I can't, you know, we're not capable of drawing straight lines on our own.
It does show that you don't really need Leo's love ruler, aka the aluminum Adobe ruler.
This is already starting to look cool. Don't lie. This is starting to become cool.
It looks
it's like
very cool.
It's like street art, man. Look. Yeah, I'm gonna freaking
So we've
save
now
this.
established you're neither an artist nor a musician. So
No.
that's good. We got
No, I don't.
Starting to get the limits.
Don't have a lot of
the
creative talent at all.
outlines- the outlines of where your career maybe should lie.
Just. Okay, fine. You can't do better than that.
I'm not trying. I'm not saying I can.
I like this. I'm saving this to Creative Cloud right now.
In the past, we've showed you Photoshop Mix, which allows you to cut out things and put them elsewhere. I think this is a nice little program to have around. Again, it's free. You can cut something and place it into another picture. It's, you know, masking. This is something that's in Photoshop, but a lot harder to use. We've also I think we showed you Adobe Ideas. I think you showed that before. This works with styluses, with tablets, or just with your finger to create sketchbooks, ideas that you could then import into your Adobe Illustrator. Oh, this is kind of a new one. Have we played with this one? I don't think so.
We have not, no, because it was new last week.
Yeah. I have no idea, really, what to do with this. I guess I could make a video, should I? I don't know if I have a video. These are community videos.
Well, you
Okay, so
whoa.
there's a clip. Guy on a motorcycle.
That looks fun.
Boy, I really don't know what you can do with this. It's just a clip.
Well, because that is.
So I guess it's sharing. Is
Yeah,
it the idea? This is just a sharing.
Yeah,
thing?
that was a little movie, an
So let me add
edited
a
movie
clip.
that somebody else.
Let's do my brand new project. Let's do it here. Hold on a second. I'm going to add some media to my project. Okay. Let's. You can add media from existing stuff from the Creative Cloud. You could put titles in, but I'm going to put some video in. Are you ready?
Do it.
Okay. When I say jump, you say how high.
Okay.
Jump.
How high?
Okay, that's good. Now, jump.
How
Somebody
high?
should jump.
Woo.
Okay, wait a minute. Do that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, excellent. We now have 2 clips.
Perfect. So good. Now what happens, Leo?
Well, we've got a.
Really nice.
We've got a big video.
I look like that.
Now I can drag the purple handles around and scrub through it. Obviously, I'm going to delete that part where I point the thing at the ground. Let's just make this be the end point right here. So it's a very simple editing program. Exposure, highlights, shadows. It does have slow motion, which is kind of fun. So I could, with the jumping part, if I want.
Jump. Okay,
I guess I forgot to point at you.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now, so I could go to that little jump portion here. Let's play that. Okay, now let's try it really slow. So you get the idea. I mean, a lot of this you can do with the in-camera stuff that the iPhone offers.
Yeah, but
it's,
first of all, it's more fun to edit on the iPad.
And I could duplicate the clip, so I could have double jumping, That'd be kind of fun if we just go start here and we have you jump twice.
Sort of like a Max Headroom type thing?
Yeah. There you go. Done. This is already a work of art.
Oh,
I know.
it's really good.
If you want, I can fade in from black, fade out to black. You could put in cross fades. You can actually, this is kind of neat. I could change the look to kind of, this was like a dream sequence I had.
I like it.
Yeah. There are a lot of other looks too. Sunrise, Punch, Pacific, Marshall. We also can add a little musical score if you'd like to the mix. And of course it comes with some existing ones which aren't great, but it has them.
Yeah, okay.
So this is iMovie.
I encourage
not so
no one
different.
to ever use the stock musical clips because then you'll be one of,
I like that.
many people
You
who
ready?
have the same soundtrack and you'll seem like an amateur.
You will.
It's
but-
like what happened with GarageBand.
Yeah.
There's like this one track that everyone used and then you just know that they didn't try that hard.
Yeah.
Just something to keep in mind. But when you're playing around, of course, use the tracks that are... This is getting dramatic.
It's good.
Yeah, it's
You
really...
get the idea. I mean, we can... So, and then, of course, as with everything else, it saves it up to the cloud, where you can then take it and use Premiere, which is the big boy editing program, or share it with other folks in the published videos.
Shave it and then share it.
Yeah, I should probably
Shave and share. That's what you should have called it, Adobe.
Sarah
Missed
jumps.
opportunity. Hey, so I think that was very good. It's no
That's the Adobe Premiere
Sarah
clip.
Heil Mike Banksy work of art,
Oh, it's
but
true, it's
you know,
not.
it's close.
Okay, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Whoa! Who had a googly eyes?
No, that's for me.
I
to-
don't think that's actually in the program. I
for
don't
me-
want to
No,
misrepresent
yeah,
that.
it's a new app where things can actually
Googly eyes.
can move right off of the iPad itself.
It's a new thing. Now, see, if Adobe googly eyes, I would download that.
Yeah, and then if you catch the googly eyes, then you win at life. And I'm not there yet. I have some work to do. Hey, you know what we need to talk about, actually, it's almost silly that we haven't talked about it yet, is the fact that we are having an Apple event, 10 a.m. this Thursday, October 16th.
We
10
haven't
a.m.
even touched
Pacific
on
time.
that, but that
I know.
we're going to get new iPads in just a couple of days.
Yeah, we are.
I think.
Touch ID, new A8 chip, which may be
A lot faster.
clocked to run faster than the A8 chip that is in the new iPhone 6 and 6 Plus.
Possibly.
Well, that's what they did with the iPad Air.
Clocked it a little faster.
Slightly, anyway. And we'll...
12.9-inch iPad Pro still on the rumor mill. We don't know if it's going to happen.
although, since you mentioned it...
The Wall Street Journal retracted the rumor. This is so funny. This is a rumor. Nobody's ever said this. And now reliable sources are saying, but they're not going to have it in time for the announcement. So the announcement rumor that we said was going to happen, the new rumor is it's not going to happen.
Well, there's no... The Wall Street Journal, you're right, did do that, but they have specific reasons why it's delayed, and that's because all of the manufacturing plants that make iPads and iPhones
Are rumored
to be held
busy.
up making iPhone 6 and 6
Again,
Pluses
all
for the
rumored.
world.
Now, I thought it was kind of interesting because they did send an invitation which said it's been way too long, and that does not imply anything about the iPad. It's not been too long.
I know, and I guess it's sort of silly to read into these too much, but I mean, Apple obviously chose
There's a
that
reason.
sentence very, very carefully.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Like,
To get us to talk about it,
the
but
iPad
also
isn't
it
getting
means
small?
something.
It's been too long.
I think it's been way too long means that they're going to update a older product. Nilay Patel at The Verge was on Twit last night, and he said he thinks that it's the Max. It's been way too long since we've updated the Max. I'm not sure I agree with him. But a Mac Mini, we haven't seen one in a while, maybe new iMacs. I don't think Macs are the target here. I think it's going to be the Apple TV is my personal thought.
Well, that's freaking exciting.
400 some days since it's been updated. It has been way too long.
It has.
Yeah.
And the Apple TV is like my favorite Apple product besides the iPad. In fact, I use them in conjunction constantly.
Nilay thinks I'm completely cracked and wrong. He disagrees.
You said
100%.
you're a cracky?
He said
Crackerjack?
something like that. He said
Crackhead?
you're cracked. He said you're a crackhead.
All right.
But
because he doesn't think that they'll even mention the Apple TV?
he does not think they will update the Apple TV this year. I think they will, and I think it's going to have HomeKit in it. We'll just see. We'll find out. You know what? It's just fun to speculate. It's a game. It's not meaningful. Whatever Apple has to announce, they will announce on Thursday. We'll be covering it live starting at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Absolument.
On twit.tv on Thursday.
And they will be streaming it live, so
They will.
Hopefully,
Without
we will not have the Mandarin laugh track that made the first half hour of our iPhone 6 coverage a little bit strange here on Twit, but guaranteed to be a good time either way. Do we know who's part of the fun?
I don't know who's part of the
besides
fun yet. I will be
us?
there.
I'll be there. This is what I live for.
Mike will be there.
iPad day. This is what I do.
I think it's just going to be the regular, the core group.
Core group. Okay,
I
good.
don't think we'll bring any shills in.
Good.
Renee Ritchie, I think, got an invitation. I don't know if Andy did. We'll find out tomorrow on Mac Break Weekly.
And that is
I
at
don't think Andy will fly out. It's a small venue, 350-seat town hall at Apple.
At One Infinite Loop at their headquarters in Cupertino, California.
I've been to an
much
event
smaller
there. It's
than
very small.
the iPhone event that was obviously just about a month ago now.
Right.
Month ago? Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think Macs. Apple will release new Macs. They'll update the Macs, but I don't think they'll have an event for Macs.
I feel weird about this event. I don't know why. I feel like I'm at war with myself because I really, I am kind of an iPad fan person. I really like the term fangirl.
The show.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, I love it, and that
today.
so I don't like to be like, this isn't going to be that cool. But I just don't. I don't feel super fired up about whatever new iPad is going to be on the scene.
Here's the question: if you got an iPad, as we did, the iPad Airs last year, what would make you want a new one? I mean, you just bought one last year.
Yeah, I think that is what I struggle with, because part of this is us making. Trying to give good advice to people who are like, should I get the new iPad? Or, is it worth it? I've got, whatever generation iPad already. And I mean, even my mom has an iPad that's not a Retina iPad, and she's like, I've just never had one, so it seems this is really nice for me.
I would upgrade to a Retina, but if you have an existing Retina quality iPad, which means an iPad 3 or an iPad mini with Retina, I don't think there's much. I mean, the Touch ID is nice, but it's a luxury. It's unlikely, and maybe if you carry your iPad around all the time and you would want to pay with it, because they'll also show Apple Pay, and that will use a Touch ID, then maybe. But mostly on the iPad, all Touch ID means you don't have to enter your password to buy something in the Apple Store.
Right. Well, and it's also when you unlock. I think Touch ID is pretty great.
My bank uses it. A lot of banks use it to unlock the banking app. So USAA, which is my bank, I can use the Touch ID on the iPhone to unlock the banking app. That's nice. That's a lot of security that I like. I imagine most banks will do that. And then, of course, that's one of the other things they'll announce. We believe on Thursday they'll talk more about Apple Pay and probably start rolling it out later this week. So that's going to be interesting, the ability to pay with your iPhone.
Very much so.
And so they'll put RFID and Touch ID in the iPad, just so I guess. But who wants to pay with an iPad?
So this is part of the, this is another something that I wanted to cover on the show, because again, I feel like I want the iPad to be the best darn little tablet in the whole world, But I do feel like with something like Apple Pay, if it works as seamlessly as we are led to believe with Apple's business arrangements that it's made with a variety of banks, credit card companies, and the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're just gonna, we're all just gonna be like tapping our phones to things and paying, and
Yes,
credit card information will be in here. There was I think 9 to 5 Mac story that that Mark Gurman published, I think this morning, that was very much in detail of what Apple Pay is going to look like and how it's going to work. And there's all these really great things like when your credit card expires, the information, once Apple has it, will just be updated, and then you'll just get a little push notification like, just so you know, this is your new version of the credit card. Because right now, what happens is I have to change a bunch of stuff in my bank, and it's kind of a mess.
And this is the good news with Apple Pay is nobody sees your credit card.
Yeah.
Except your merchant bank and you.
Right.
When you buy something at Kohl's or wherever you're using your Apple Pay, they just get a token. They don't see your credit card.
Yeah.
So, there have been breaches at Target and Home Depot. There were some new point-of-sale breaches announced today. Those won't matter anymore, even if they have a virus in their point-of-sale system, because they aren't getting anything that the bad guys could use. This is one thing, though, I think Neil got right, which is he says there will be point-of-sale stuff with the iPad on Thursday. Remember, a lot of people use Square to Pay and other solutions with their iPad. You see it a lot in stores nowadays to check out with the iPad.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't have their own solution yet. They will. So Thursday, you'll see the other half of Apple Pay, which is, it doesn't matter to you and me, but for merchants, this will make a big deal. This is the other side, the point-of-sale system.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That would, okay, because I guess the point I was trying to make originally before I trailed off was, it's weird to me because I think Apple Pay will be so successful that there'll be even less of a reason to do something like that on your iPad, because that's just sort of silly, right? Because now it'll be like, we really just need the one maybe larger iPhone 6 Plus, and it does all of the stuff for you.
The point-of-sale stuff?
No, as a consumer.
As a consumer.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree with you. I think they could throw it in. It doesn't hurt to throw it in.
It doesn't hurt to. It doesn't hurt to throw it in.
It's not enough to make you want to buy a new iPad. Is our point.
Because that's. Are you really going to be bringing it around with you everywhere? I kind of bring my iPad with me everywhere, but that's unusual.
I think it's going to put Square in a deep doo-doo, because Apple's going to say to all of these vendors, hey, we've got a great point-of-sale solution, works with Apple Pay. Yeah,
and we're Apple.
And we're Apple.
And so we don't have to worry about, scaling. The customers are already all there. Apple should have bought Square a long time ago. I don't know what went on there. I know that they hired a bunch of engineers from Apple, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but it seems like it would have been such a good little union.
By the way, and this is somebody's pointing out in the chat room, and this does foster touch and pay solutions across all smartphones, anything with an NFC chip in it. Apple is just going to really jumpstart that whole market, I think. And you're going to see, it's good news. It means, I think it's kind of the beginning of the end for credit cards, and a much safer, much more secure system will replace
Thank goodness. Yeah. I never want to, I'm not good with that stuff. I'm always leaving a credit card in the wrong purse, and then I don't have it with me, and it's just, what a mess. Yep. I always have this, or the iPad, or both.
Would it be interesting if they put physical hardware on the new iPad to swipe? They're not going to do that on all of them. But maybe they'll have special point-of-sale iPads.
That would be too costly.
Yeah,
for
most people
aren't merchants.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, though. It could be like the iPad Air 2, and then the iPad Merchant Plus.
You could make an iPad. Okay, this is a question. Could you make an iPad work with Touch to Pay? So you're Sarah Lane. I'm Leo Laporte. You've come into the Leo Laporte wig emporium, and you've come here to buy a wig.
Beautiful.
And I have my point-of-sale system, and I say, okay, Sarah, I've got your wig all rung up. Just tap your phone here on my iPad, and we'll complete the sale.
Like the wig, please.
Like that. Do you think that? I think that.
I think no. I think you're being a little nuts right now. But I like where you're going, but I don't think that we're going to see
You don't need a card reader. You just need what is it? What is that? An NFC receiver.
I guess. It's almost like Bump all over again.
Yeah, you could do it with Bump, so yeah, I bet you could do it.
Bump closed down, didn't it? Who bought Bump? Google?
Who bought Bump?
I think
Who put the Bump in the Bump Shabump?
Who bought Bump and shut down the Bump? I think it was Google. I don't remember. I think so. Yeah, Bump has wound down, but it was very cool when it was first introduced. We got an email from Rich in Westbury, New York. Hello, Rich, who says, both on iPad Today and MacBreak Weekly, you guys talked about the possibility of an iPad Pro. So that's sort of the larger 12.9-inch iPad.
Yeah.
On MacBreak, they said it wouldn't happen. In fact, they said that they would have to announce it early to allow developers to make apps for it.
Good point.
If you recall, the way we all confirmed that there would be a larger iPhone was that after WWDC, which is back in June, on the Xcode 6 beta, there was an option to test apps on a resizable iPhone. This was a way for developers to test their apps on a larger screen without telling them that there was going to be a larger iPhone, although it's, obviously fueled the rumor. Xcode 6 also, and still does, have an option for a resizable iPad as well. In fact, the Xcode 6.1 beta, there isn't even an option to test apps on the Mini. The options are iPad 2, iPad Retina, iPad Air, and resizable iPad.
Not the Mini?
No.
You think you're going to kill the Mini? They might. They got an iPhone 6 Plus.
That would be weird, though, because the iPad Mini has sold very well.
I like the Mini.
A lot of people do. And it's Retina, so it's not
this
like...
This is smaller than the Mini. The Mini's more than twice as big as
This is not a Mini. I'm just, I don't know, people just make fun of me for having this, being, with
it's
small,
kind of giant.
small
you're
hands.
You're so small.
It seems
it looks
iPad
bigger
Mini
with you than anybody else.
Well, I'm special. But no, I have to just, since I've been on vacation recently with this guy, it's like, I really am starting to get used to it.
And you'll start to love it someday soon.
I do love it.
Really?
I do.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that's changed is that now
it took
apps
a couple
are,
weeks.
Well, apps are starting to come out that take advantage of the screen size. Before, it was just a bunch of blown up apps. It's like, why? What's the point of this?
As soon as Tweetbot started looking nice and crisp, I was like, I love this thing.
Gmail's been updated.
It's just very hard to use as a phone without being laughed out of the park.
If somebody's still laughing at people with big phones, they really should stop because most people have big phones now.
But look, that's silly.
No, it's not.
Hello?
Looks normal to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello? I think it looks very, very big.
You know what's funny? Somebody, we were taking pictures after the last show, and somebody had a 5C, and John said, "Wow, is this small?" You just get conditioned to what you're used to.
Yeah.
The 5C now, if you've got one, looks really, or the 5 looks really small, 4 inches. Ooh.
Yeah, I was making fun of.
Get used to it. They don't look silly with this phone.
I was making fun of the 5S yesterday. Not making fun, but just like, it's so small I can't even handle it. Oh, you know what? I actually have my 5S in here. Yeah, see, like this is...
Wow.
I can't believe that just 1 month ago, this was my life.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Put it next to the 6. Yeah. Does look like something's wrong there.
This is crazy. Yeah. It's like a little chiclet of a phone. Weird, huh?
Yeah. I'll take that when you're done with it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I have uses for it.
It's yours, actually.
I have uses for it. I'm building a little house for my dog out of old iPhones.
Cool, Leo. So, did you hear how Finland's prime minister...
Who?
Finland.
Okay.
The country.
I thought you said Finland.
I might have said Finland. I meant Finland.
Finland.
You know, Nokia land.
He blames the Apple people for all of the troubles and woes in Finland.
Not all of them, but
2 of them.
But said that the iPhone killed Nokia and that the iPad killed paper.
Yeah.
Meaning that they have 2 specific companies that are very important industries.
And now we have too many
Europe's
trees.
biggest paper producers both originate in Finland, UPM Kymmene and Stora Enso. And...
can you believe that guy is the Prime Minister of Finland? He looks like a movie star.
Well, yeah,
He looks like a young movie. He looks like Ashton Kutcher.
He looks like a stock photo, is what he looks like.
Does. He looks like a stock
photo. I was
photo.
like, is that a real guy?
I am the Prime Minister of... There is no Prime Minister of Finland. There's just a stock photo.
CNBC got punked hard.
I think so.
The iPad killed paper. Well, Finland has been... experiencing an economic downturn.
I feel bad about Nokia, but that's not our fault.
And had a downgraded
Microsoft
rating.
bought them, not us.
Yeah.
Not Apple.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know us. Why did I say us? I'm not Apple.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with any of this except talking about it at length. Which Leo also does on Mac Break Weekly, which airs every Tuesday.
Right, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good show with good folks.
Actually, we'll debate this thing about whether they maybe will show new iMacs.
I bet you will. I bet everybody's going to have an opinion, too.
It's our last chance to speculate.
So, how do you feel about, this was something I found on Apple Insider this morning, that the company GT Advanced Technologies, who makes the... Sapphire, that was rumored to be a much bigger part of the iPhone 6 and kind of wasn't, and some of us went, huh, it's just sort of a rumor that never came to light.
That? Yeah.
They're going through bankruptcy. And they would like to make some of their confidential discussions with Apple public.
Oh, they're a little peeved.
They're a lot peeved.
I was wondering if they would be. Now, Apple put in a fairly big chunk of change, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars, as I remember, into GT Sapphire.
Yeah, in fact, Apple is mostly responsible for the most recent plant that
the Mesa
in
plant.
Arizona.
They opened a Mesa, Arizona plant for cranking out these things. And then Apple, and this is where I'd be very interested to see the documents. Apple decided not to use Sapphire, and now all of a sudden GT's saying, well, we only have 80 million left in the bank. We want a Chapter 11 reorganization. It's not a dissolution, it's a reorganization. And among the things we'd like to do, if the court allows us, we'd like to close that Mesa, Arizona plant. Now, I suspect if they are going to go to court, what they're going to say is, hey, it's Apple's fault. And I think what Apple might say, and in fact, I think they implied is, well, the technology did not live up to its promise. We wanted to put it in the iPhone, but it wasn't reliable enough, they couldn't make enough, or it was too expensive. Something was wrong that kept Apple from doing that.
Right.
And then maybe Apple would have that as an excuse. Look, we did want to use that Sapphire, but they couldn't do it.
One of the court filings that has come to light in this situation, yeah, because apparently Apple has been a bit blindsided by this as well. Like, what do you mean you only have 80 million left in the bank? Well, that's, apparently so. That GT has revealed that as part of a confidentiality agreement, Apple imposes a $50 million penalty per occurrence for leaking any information about any upcoming unannounced product. That was reported initially in the Financial Times, and it's obviously backed up by these court filings. But the company is kind of, and there are a lot of theories as to why they might be doing this, hinting that Apple's contracts are unreasonable, they're oppressive, they're burdensome to other companies. Basically, like Apple's the bully in this situation. So you kind of go like $50 million per occurrence. Wow, no wonder Apple can keep secrets under wraps. But you signed the agreement.
Well,
so
you
now,
were hoping for a lot of business, and Apple then didn't give you the business. Plus, it sounds like they fined them. Was it? Are they mad that Marcus Brownlee had something called, he thought it was a sapphire screen and bent it? Were they mad at that? What was it they're mad about?
It's
well,
hard
we'll find
to
out.
say.
I hope
GT has asked permission to disclose details of its agreement in the interest of what they say, as they explain, interest of creditors, equity holders, and other stakeholders, as well to ensure an open, transparent, and fair process. Of course.
If they reasonably believe that it was Apple's fault that they had to go Chapter 11, then I would ask the court to say, may we please reveal why?
Right. Yeah, because we don't want to be fined $50 million per occurrence. Yeah, they don't even have 2 occurrences when you think of it that way. So I don't know. We'll follow that story and see what ends up happening. But obviously, especially for workers in the U.S., it's not a good thing if that plant closes, because that was one of Apple's been very sort of triumphantly saying we're going to bring jobs locally or regionally anyway. So that is not a good situation. Plus, Sapphire is just cool, and I wanted to see more of it. We got an email from Dana who says, this is actually kind of funny. Well, Dana will not think that I think that this is funny. When iOS came out, I complained to you about them automatically downloading it on my iPad without my permission. Do you remember when that happened? It was like a over the air,
like a YouTube album.
U2. Yeah.
U2 happened to U2?
Well, it's yeah.
No, iOS did not download automatically.
Yeah, in the background.
Oh, it downloads and then you have to say yes, install it.
Right. So Dana
did that to me, by the way, this morning.
Dana had written in about that.
802.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Dana had written in about that, and I don't remember doing this, Dana, because iOS 7 is a long time ago. But Dana says, you guys addressed my letter on the show and you laughed at me and said, get over it. You really did that. Now, with U2's album being forcibly given to all Apple customers, then you rally against Apple on how bad this is. What is it with the double standard? I'd much rather whine about a 3-gigabyte operating system taking up needed space on my iPad rather than a tiny little album, even though both should not happen at all from Apple or any company.
Well, the difference on the U2 is you have to actually, that's more justifiable because you have to actually say, there's a setting, download all new music. If you had that setting on iOS turned on, then the YouTube album would be, because it was given to you, new music, and would be downloaded automatically. And I imagine that happened to a lot of people. I have to say I apologize because I didn't understand that what he was saying. I thought he was saying it automatically installed. What he was saying is it automatically downloaded.
Right. So it's already
even
taking
if you
up space.
choose not to install it, it's there. And the same thing happened to me this morning. It said 802 is ready. Would you like to install it? And there was no download to do because it had downloaded in the background. And so I apologize. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying it installed automatically. It does download. You still have to say I install it, but it does download. It does use up bandwidth, although presumably only Wi-Fi bandwidth. And it will use up space. I don't know for how long. If you don't install it, does it just go away? What happens
Oh,
then?
no, I think it's sitting there indefinitely.
It just stays there forever?
Yeah, I don't think that there's a...
That's ugly.
Some sort of a, after the grace period, it goes away. I also think, though, Dana, that it's hard to compare an operating system update to a musical album that has basically nothing to do with how the iPad or iPhone, for that matter, would function otherwise. That's, I think, what people had an issue with.
Has in the past, and been rightly so, assumed that everybody would install the iOS update. In the past, adoption rates have been very high, very fast. Not so with iOS 8. It's only about 42% adoption so far, and it's been stagnant for a couple of weeks. And I think there's a strong reason for that. It's not so much that people don't want it, although some people heard about the 801 fiasco and said, oh, I'm not going to do that. But more that most people, or many people, don't have enough free storage. You have to have, I can't remember what it is, but a lot. If you bought a 16 gigabyte... It's like
5 gigs or something, right? Yeah.
If you bought a 16 gigabyte device, iPhone or iPad, it's very likely you don't have enough to install it. And then now, to add insult to injury, there's this file waiting to be installed that you can't install, taking up even more space. I understand that point of view. I'm just looking to see if in usage, if I can delete it. I mean, does it show up somewhere? Is there is there a check mark that says don't download updates? I don't know. I don't see it here anywhere. So I'm really not sure. It seems like you should be able to say, don't download those updates unless I explicitly ask for them. But I don't see where that would be.
I just don't know that Apple wants to be that helpful because they want everybody to be.
They want people
for the most part, yeah, running the new version.
And for the most part, I'd agree with them.
Yeah. You know, Norm Gregory just tweeted me and said, what would get me to buy a new iPad is a non-reflective screen because current models are worthless outside in the sun.
Not going to happen.
But I agree with you. They are worthless outside in the sun. For example, I would not take my iPad to
Vegas.
To the pool outside in Vegas. Right. That's why I actually carry a dead tree book with me when I travel for those times that it's just not feasible to read my iPad, because I would prefer to do that the whole time. But in the sun, you're right, sucks.
Right.
It's not an enjoyable experience. We also, last week, I think it was, maybe even the week before, you and I were both a little bit confused with what was going on with PhotoStream. Now it's called Recent Photos and what's happening.
They replaced the camera roll with Recent Photos,
yes.
Right? They still have PhotoStream.
Right. So, and we got a lot of responses from people who were trying to be really helpful, which is awesome. Stephen wrote in and said, in reference to the most recent show, so I guess it was last week, with PhotoStream versus iPhone versus the cloud, you can enable the cloud version currently if you go into Settings, iCloud, and then the iCloud photo library, which is in beta in 8.1. This will give the function that you're looking for, bringing photos out of the cloud, but it overwrites the picture and makes it one picture everywhere, whatever changes that you make to it. So you're basically you're editing the original picture forever.
This is 8.0.2. My PhotoStream is still there, and also this new iCloud, or maybe it's not new, iCloud photo sharing. So that's still there.
But you don't have either of those turned on.
If you go to Photos, well, I don't actually use PhotoStream.
Right.
Because I don't want my butt to show up on the big screen TV anytime soon.
Big screen, huh? Okay. Let's see, what else? As far as, yeah, so, and then we got another email from Elliot that said, no, PhotoStream exists. It's just hidden in iCloud Photos.
I think we were talking about the camera roll disappearing.
Well...
Or did we confuse the two?
No, remember, because we were looking through, I was saying, we were looking through the photos that were being organized
for your PhotoStream.
On my iPad, and they were sort of out of order, and I was saying, you know, I didn't even take these photos in order. It's a bit of a weird mishmash what's going on here. I still feel that way. But
PhotoStream lives on.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
There you have it. And do be careful with PhotoStream, because as Leo said, sometimes it shows up in places.
You know, actually, the real reason I turned it off is because now I won't have to worry now because of family sharing. But in the past, my kids have had the same logon as I have, so that they can share. You know, they bought music when they were younger, and it was all under my account, so they want access to their music. So we just all share one I guess it's iTunes login. And I was using that for my photo stream. So my photos were showing up for my kids. Worse, my kids' photos were showing up on my photo stream. And we all mutually decided this was a bad idea.
Sure. Yeah.
And so we all have our own iCloud account now. And with family sharing, we won't even have to share the iTunes account anymore. I could just say, hey, all my albums available to Abby and Henry.
It's funny how I'm sure there are certain families who think we can always 100% of the time share photos with each other, not a problem. But I can't really imagine a world where that would exist 100% of the time.
Yeah, your picture should be yours.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not even sort of like wink wink talking about like naughty photos or anything like that. Just kind of like, I don't know how useful that is for the average family.
I don't
really
want Henry's pictures in mine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he doesn't want mine in his.
Right.
It's not that there's anything that he shouldn't see. It's just it messes it up.
It's a mess. We love hearing from all of you. Thanks to everybody who wrote in and tweeted during the show. You can call us as well. The number is 757-504-IPAD. Of course, if you would like to email us with questions or comments or feedback or ideas or apps that you'd like us to look at or anything of the kind, ipadtoday@twit.tv is the email address to use. And thanks to everybody who writes us and gives us great content ideas each week. You're wonderful people, and that's why we do the show. Oh, no, that's not much of an app cat.
Really, somebody in my office is confused about what an app cat represents.
Well, you could put that on your head.
Oh, maybe this is a hat?
No, that's definitely a mask.
Not only is it a mask, it's too small for my face.
Yeah, there are a lot, I don't know how I feel about this.
If there ever were an Android
goodness.
Leo, this is what he... Oh, now I have no face.
You have no face at all, except
I'm your father, Luke.
you see a tiny little, some eyes blinking. That's so cool. We could key it out, huh?
Well, it's
because
pretty
it's green. Yeah. Oh, technical direction tricks.
Can I put my... Oh, that's really creepy. Oh, don't move. Let him move you.
Too small.
Hey! Hey! Sarah, what are those bags under your eyes, Sarah? You're partying a little too hardy.
Yeah, I'll say. Okay, you know what? I'm sick of this. Why does this always have to turn into like, let's put Leo's face on Sarah's body. Ha ha.
Wow. It's also getting a little steamy in here.
Yeah, it probably stinks and it looks plasticky. Hey, so this is the part of the show where usually Leo is not wearing a weird mask, but we do wear hats.
You're not wearing a Kazakhstan hat. That comes from Kazakhstan.
I like it, though.
Isn't that pretty?
I actually think this is pretty darn flattering.
Don't you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. This part of the show where Leo and I put hats on, call them app caps, that represent the App Cap Awards, where we decide, here is an app that you should know about and you will probably like, and then we share them with you.
Yes.
So this week, my app is made by a company called IDEO, and I actually know people who have worked at IDEO over the years. It's a design consultancy. I guess that would be the easiest way to describe the company.
They designed many early Apple products, were designed by IDEO.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a great company. Now they're more like consulting people on how to think about things, ideas. It's come much design thinking has entered
design
the business
world. I would say maybe there's a lot more focus on that. And the only reason I really even know any of that is because I've known people who've worked at, but a lot of emphasis on creative types. Anyway, I did not know that IDEO was creating apps, and this app, which is called Spark Camera, has been around for some time, and here I am, not even aware of it.
Is it to spark an idea?
Well, I guess, yeah, you could kind of think of it that way. All right, so did I turn off? No, it's back up again. I just took some very silly little videos before the show. Now, this doesn't look like much, but I mentioned at the top of the show that I had an app that had very creative filters.
Yes.
So, and they really are. They're all named after places in the world. So, for example, we've got Rome, or we've got Paris, or we've got Cairo, or we've got Barcelona, or Rio, or Havana, or Manhattan. I love this. Area 51. Okay, now we're getting creative. How about Polaris?
Oh.
Or, well, Tokyo, that one doesn't make sense to me, but I sure like Mars.
The red planet.
Red planet. So you might say, okay, well, how'd you make it? Let's make another one. So this is kind of an interesting, again, design quality of this app specifically. What you were just watching on loop were little videos that I was taking of a combined, circle of videos. So I could say, all right, I want to, or here, I'll do the front-facing camera because that just makes more sense. So then we've seen that I've added another, this is combined a 10-second clip now.
Okay.
I could, show Leo here.
Hey, look at my face.
Okay, now we're doing really well. So then I can say, all right, well, now let's play that. So we got Mars. We're looking at the Mars filter still, which is fine because it's red and cool or whatever. This is all from earlier before the show. But then you're able to add in, and then on the fly you can also see how different filters look, which is actually pretty nice. And that's sort of unusual for video.
Real time, yeah.
Yeah, for video editing apps. And then of course I've got the option to make some cuts to the video. They do a pretty good job of walking you through it when you're going to do that for the first time, trimming your elements. And it even says in the developer notes for this app that the whole concept of the circular video timeline is like something that they have a patent pending for, which I thought was kind of interesting because I was like,
Good for them. I hope they get the patent.
yeah, right. So, and then if you are interested, again, in other people's videos, there's a lot of that going on.
It's so funny because this is so similar to the Premiere
Totally.
Clips program.
I know, it
but
really
with
is.
the designs like a kind of a cool slant.
Yeah.
And Adobe just made it utilitarian.
Right.
But this is very much like Adobe Clip, really. I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
What are the laurel leaves for? What is that? Is that your Palme d'Or award? Is that?
That was what I just showed
Oh,
you.
it's just somebody's.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a featured user type of thing. And that
Well,
is.
people are obviously using it.
Yeah,
neat.
and then of course.
And how much is this?
99 cents.
Okay, good deal.
I like. Yeah, that's if I was had actually shared.
This is a problem I'm starting to see in the app world, which is that
What's that?
there's a million apps, and it's like, well, how do you choose one of the other? And is there a community around this one? And this came out a few months ago, and there isn't a massive community. So what does that mean? Is it moribund? That's Kevin Spacey.
It is. That's so funny.
That's from I believe from the last episode. I hope there are no spoilers.
There's no spoilers, but I probably shouldn't be showing this.
Yes, that was the last episode right there. Yeah,
You
don't
can
show
also-
any more of that.
You can also add your own. It really is a lot like the Adobe product, isn't it? We could add Lord, the song Royals that you
Yeah.
love so much. Kevin and Lord together. We could,
That's an interesting mashup.
kind of fun, right? So yeah, this is just a fun little app. These are the sorts of apps that I can waste an entire afternoon on and just sort of make silly stuff. But you can use it as a truly creative tool for something that you're actually quite proud of. So again, Spark Camera, 99 cents in the App Store, and I had a lot of fun with it.
That's neat.
Yeah.
All right, let me show you mine. This is actually a iPad port. I'm sorry, I have to talk through this mask, but we spent $5 on it, and I'm not going to take it off.
Yeah, no, it's really important that you keep character here.
You perhaps saw on episode 191 of Know How, Father Robert Ballaser playing the PC game Goat Simulator.
Which sounds kind of gross,
It's
potentially.
actually a great game. $5.
Okay.
No in-app purchases. This is not freemium. This is a game you bought. And once you buy it, there is endless fun with you and your goat. It's a silly kind of a game. You're not like there's not really any goals. You're just kind of wandering around. Oh, come on. Come on, Goat Simulator.
You're talking it up, buddy.
Come on. Well,
you better,
It's a memory thing. This happens a lot with the iPad. If it crashes out again, I will. Good. All right, didn't this time. So the idea is you are a hapless little goat, and you're wandering around your hapless little goat area doing things. You can jump, you can headbutt. How come I lost all the good stuff that I had from previous? Let's headbutt this goat here. I'm gonna knock him. I got devil goat earlier. I'm gonna go back to devil goating. You can jump over things. Some places have things to jump on, like this trampoline. Let me see if I can get up on here. Whoa, without jumping off. There we go. Whoa, we see we were going higher and higher and higher. What fun, huh? You can also discover things.
Why do you think that it's a goat specifically?
And launch yourself into space.
Just because people like goats type thing?
Headbutt this guy. You get points for doing stuff like that. Oh, missed him.
Oh, so it's a jerk goat.
It's, well,
I like this.
It could be any kind of goat you want. You really assume the personality that you're looking for. Things are falling down all over the place.
Can the goat carjack?
No, it's not like Grand Theft Auto or
well,
something.
I just was asking.
But he can leap over tall things and.
Because he's a goat.
He's a goat. It's a lot of fun. I'm not very good at it. See that hang glider? If you get up into, I'm told, if you get up into that crane.
Can that goat just run through someone's house?
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. You make, really, the goat is all about the mayhem.
Yeah.
Of being Mr. Goaty.
Yeah, let's bust through a window.
You wanna?
Yeah.
Oh, too late. I jumped down.
Well, you
I'm not really good. Padre had to walk me through this. He's the master
of Goat Simulator.
Yeah. Let's see. How does a goat climb a ladder? Just
like that.
Like that. That's weird.
And then what happens? Does the goat die?
No, the goat can't die.
But like, if the goat jumps off this thing that it just jumped up with its head.
Well, he'd have some internal injuries, but
it wouldn't stop the fun.
He would survive. Whoa! I think I just did that.
Oh.
And
he's not happy. I think you killed your goat.
No, I didn't. There are different.
He's lying, motionless. Okay.
There are different achievements, and I just unwittingly achieved jumping from a high height. Anyway, this is, I just got to tell you, if you haven't watched Father Robert Ballister play this game, you've missed out on some real fun.
On something
and
that
now you
would
can
bring
do
you
it
a
on
lot
your
of
iPad.
joy.
This is actually a really fun game. Create goat mayhem. Everywhere you
This
go.
is a jerk goat.
Oh, and by the way, I should point out, you can look around like that. The easiest way to do this is with 2 fingers.
I mean, there's almost a Minecraft quality to this, don't you think, a little bit?
Yeah, it's an open adventure. It's a free-form adventure.
Yeah.
Like this guy. Why is he sitting there? Does anybody know?
Get him!
Get him!
Oh my gosh! Wow, that was more dramatic than I was expecting.
Goat Simulator, more dramatic than you might think. That's the tagline in this one. This is the best $5 I have ever spent
in your
my
life.
It is
really bold
really
statement.
fun to buy.
You heard it here, kids.
Play Goat Simulator.
$5.
Kids,
to just
grown-ups,
be the jerk goat of town.
If you hear somebody giggling in your office uncontrollably, they're probably playing
Goat Simulator. I love it. This is good. This is a good find.
Oh, this is great. Look,
this is also one of those games that I would find in the App Store, and I would not give it a chance because I would think that it was very stupid.
Do you think I should blow up the gas station?
Oh yeah, but I mean, you're.
Oh. I got hit by a car.
That's unfortunate.
Well, that's all right. Just get right back up and get back on the goat.
He's a magic goat. You know, if you blow up a gas station, I would think that would be quite an explosion.
Shall we try it?
Yes.
What do I do? Headbutt the gas pump?
Headbutt the gas pump. Oh.
Michael Bay, kaboom.
You only hurt yourself, you dumb goat.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Got a running start.
Boom, boom.
You already got everything.
I think I torched that car.
There's no more gas
Holy cow,
station.
there's nothing left.
Maybe
that gas tanker truck.
Okay,
Whoa.
so this is really an explosion game disguised as be a goat game.
It's like Grand Theft Auto without the hookers.
Right. Like, there's no reason to bring sex into this.
No, because you've got a goat already.
You're just a farm animal.
You're happy.
Wreaking havoc on some town in Colorado or wherever this might be.
I like open, free-form stuff.
This is good stuff.
And it is just silly. It's $5. What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want from us?
I gotta lick that.
If you don't like this app cap, I don't know what to do with you.
I gotta lick. Oh, I got my head stuck. By the way, goats do that a lot. In real life, they get their heads stuck in.
And then they go, meh.
And then I hurt myself because my goat got his head stuck in the fence, and I had to jump out. Or no, that was a bad dream. I had to jump out over the fence, and I hurt my foot saving the goat. Get up there, goatie. Jeez. Anyway, Goat Simulator.
Love it. Goat Simulator.
It's got my goat.
Those are 2 good up caps this week. Smart Camera, Goat Simulator, very different, but both designed to give you, what is that? Oh, it's a goat. I got it. Took me a minute. It kind of looks like an elephant seal or something.
What is that? Oh, it's a goat.
Oh, it's a goat on Leo's face. This is getting weird. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this episode of iPad Today, but that's okay because we were at the end anyway. Yeah, this just isn't. I'm so fragile right now
Goat
after
Simulator.
a weekend in Las Vegas. I can't deal with this really.
The goat.
You Thanks everybody for watching and listening to this episode of iPad Today, episode 218. Can you believe it? We will be back next week with a lot more fun and even maybe more goat simulation, but not this mask. We will never see this again. Until then, I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Leo Laporte.
And we'll see you next week on iPad Today.
Oh!